Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC 312 Duplessis versus Strickland 2. We back with another breakdown of a pay-per-view that is terrible. Yeah, this card is pretty terrible. Like, it's called a pay-per-view, but it looks nothing like a pay-per-view. The main event is a fight we saw a year ago, and should be someone else. The co-main event's amazing, I can't wait for this fight. And then the rest is shit. Pretty much, one or two interesting things, but overall it's not that good. It's one of the weakest cards I've ever fucking seen for a pay-per-view. Like, they're literally putting fucking 2 title fights and then nothing. It's the most pathetic thing I've ever fucking seen. We deserve better than this, and it's a joke we have to deal with this shit. Like, we know they can make good cards. We've seen them do it. And then they come out with this garbage. Like, huh? Fuck, man. Like, come on. We know you can make a good card without even trying to do it. What's this fucking garbage you're fucking giving us for no reason? I don't get it. I don't get the UFC. They can book a good card. They just had a great card last week. What were they like? Oh no, we can't have too many good cards. Let's have a shit one. Huh? Fucking morons. Fuck them. You see why I don't like this? Why I hate the UFC. They're fucking dumbasses. Just book good cards every week. It's not hard. It's really easy. You've done it for 30 fucking 2 years now. Or tempted to. Shit. Whatever. Fuck the UFC. It fucks this card, but so I gotta break it down, which is fucking dreadful. I love the co-main event. I can't wait for Weili and Tatiana, but everything else I'm either not thrilled about or I'm not thrilled, don't care, or it sucks. And very few are like not in those categories. 1 or 2 fights I guess I'm a little interested in, but god, most fights are just like, why is this happening on a pay-per-view? Why? I don't get it. I truly don't get it. But that's the UFC. They don't want us to get it, do they? Doesn't seem like it. Whatever. UFC 312 in Sydney, Australia, but it is at normal times for a pay-per-view, so that's good. Yeah, not very much else I can think to rant about that hasn't already been said. Because what I just said, and pretty much everyone has said, this card's terrible for a pay-per-view, and it is. If this is a fight night, okay, not bad. But you want $90 for this bullshit? Fuck you. Either way, we're still gonna break it down. We're still gonna watch it Saturday night, and we're still gonna recap it Sunday. So, what did that really say about us? Enough about that. Let's finally get into the breakdown. Before I do, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2025. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I don't believe not that I can know of, I talked about Cody being ass, and that's about all I need to say. So let's get into the breakdown. You ready to break down 12 fights in Sydney? I know I am. Let's do it. UFC 312. Let's go. In Sydney, not some dump like Saudi Arabia, so that's always a W. And I do want to give a quick update. We were meant to be doing 13 fights, but a few hours ago we did lose Hong Song Park, and I'm not going to try his name. So, because they already did the weigh-ins because it's in Sydney, so I guess Term and Darable had some weight cut issues, and that fight got pulled. Okay, not truly upset about that. I could really give a fuck. I thought that fight was forgettable to begin with. I forgot that fight was even on the card at times. So, yeah. Sucks to lose a fight, but it's not one I'm going to be crying about losing, so. Oh no. I just want to give that update, so. Still got 12 fights, and, the prelims are okay. Definitely heavily carrying, but whatever. Still got 12 fights, still got some prelims. Let's get into them. And we will begin the night. Now, instead of with the Hong Song Park fight, we will now begin the night in the lightweight division. It's one of the two easiest fights on the card to predict. So that'll be a fun way to begin as we start UFC 312 in the lightweight division with, oh boy, I'm trying to say this name, Quillan Salkilld, Salkilld, I think Quillan Salkilld, I know I'm saying that wrong, versus Anshul, King of Lions, Jubli. Yeah, I don't really think I need to explain what this fight is to anyone who's watched the UFC card. Debuting a 7-1 prospect, fighting Tomato Can. I wonder what's gonna happen. Let's find out, I guess. UFC 312, let's go. And we begin with one of the many debutants on the card. There's like fucking a good 5 or 6. We begin with Quillan Salkilld. Quillan, of course, made his UFC debut coming off Contender Series a few back in September, where he looked decent from what I remember. I don't remember him looking amazing, but I do remember him looking decent. Nothing that crazy or memorable in his Contender Series fight. I just remember him looking pretty decent. Nothing, like, again, no finish, no big knockdown, for I remember. Like, he looked good. I do remember him looking good. It wasn't like a Jamal Pokes where he won a fucking boring decision and still got a contract. He, I think, did actually deserve his contract. Now it's time for him to show up in the big leagues. I'm trying to remember his Contender Series fight, since it was not, like, I remember him being pretty well-rounded as a fighter. He had good striking, his ground game was decent, he went the full 15, he's a decent fighter, very young, 25 years old, 7-1, can you tell I'm reaching to talk about things for this guy, cause I can't, I'm trying to remember his Contender Series fight, but man, like, I've seen clips over the week, and I do remember him looking good, but it's just, I can't really even, like, think of a specific moment. Like, I'm not trying to shit on him. Again, I do think he deserved his UFC contract. I think he is very good. But, nothing really memorable. So, he looked good. He looked good from what I remember versus an 8-1 fellow Aussie, right? Oh no, he was a United States. I forget. There was a different guy, I think. Someone else. There was a different Aussie that fought an Aussie. So, but Quillan looked good, or yeah, I still don't know how to say his last name. Salkilld, but you know, he looked good, and I'm intrigued to see his debut share of the UFC, giving him as easy of a layup as you can give him. Anshul Jubli, one of the worst fighters ever. So let's see what Quillan can do. Like, I think this might be a step back in competition, to be honest, from Contender Series, so we'll see what Quillan can do, man. He's starting off the night for the Aussies at home. Let's see if he can start off right. Not much I would say about Quillan. I tried to say what I could, even everything I could think to. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued in his debut. He was definitely kind of a unforgotten guy of the season. So let's see if he can make himself noticed. Quillan Salkilld, first fighter of the night, especially first Aussie of the night. See what the kid can do in his debut. To talk about his opponent, the GOAT himself, Anshul Jubli. The GOAT, the meme, the legend, the guy that made MMA Guru actually funny for one fight. Anshan Jubli. Jesus Christ, what is there to say? Jubli 1-1 in UFC. I get coming off the road to UFC, where he did win the featherweight, lightweights, whatever fucking weight class, beating Jekka Sergi, where he actually looked good. He looked like he was going to be an interesting prospect in UFC. And then he had his second UFC fight versus Mike Bruna, and everything went wrong. He didn't look that good. He still was probably up 2-0, and then Bruna just went full dog mode. He literally was barking at Anshan. Jubli was gassed, he was fucking scared, and eventually Bruna knocked him the fuck out as a giant underdog, and he was barking at him. And if I remember, he might have been up 2-0, Jubli, so yeah. Oh, the memes. The fucking memes. I think if you want to watch a funny clip of MMA Guru, watch the breeding Jubli fight. That's the only time I'll ever give them fat fuck credit for being funny. Besides that, he's a fucking loser. But that's a different story. Fucking Anshan Jubli. How is he still here? He took all of 2024 off, and now he's back, so about a year and a half layoff. Has he got better? Probably fucking not. I don't think he'd get worse, though. 30 years old, 7-1. We know what the UFC is doing with him here. They wanted him to be good, because they wanted that Indian market. And after you lose to Mike Bruna and take a year and a half off, we're going to just feed you to a debutant. And that's what they're doing here. They probably have all their eggs are in the Pooja Tamer basket, who fights in, I think, a month or two, so we'll see how she does. Cause Jubli, you ain't it, brother. You ain't it. I don't even know what Jubli's not even good at anything. His striking, clearly not that good. His cardio's ass. His ground game's ass. He's ass. He's a terrible fighter. And Quillan's going to wipe the fucking floor with him. So, can't really think of what else to say. Anshan fucking Jubli. Trash. About all I can say. He's a meme for a reason. Not because he's good. Because he's a joke. The dude barked at him and beat him. Enough said. Not very much else to say. Anshan Jubli is back, finally. The GOAT. And, see how bad he looks this time. The betting odds have Quillan Salkilld -410 to +320. Of course, he's fighting Anshan Jubli. Anyone could be -500 versus Anshan Jubli. Me and you could be fucking -500 versus Anshan Jubli. Like, fuck. It's Anshan Jubli. Dude got beat by Mike Bruna. He pretty much got knocked out by fucking barks. He was barked at. Fucking dumb. Quillan's going to fucking kill this poor guy. It's just, how is he going to do that? I think he's gonna finish him because it's Anshan fucking Jubli. Yeah, you better finish him. But 3 submissions, 2 KOs, 2 decisions. How does he feel like finishing Jubli? Because he can do it anywhere, in my opinion. TKO, ground and pound, submission, knockout. Jubli's kind of shit everywhere. Give me Quillan Salkilld. Not my lock of the night. I know, shocker there. Give me Quillan by... Fuck. What am I feeling? He's not gonna let him survive 15 minutes. Knockout or decision, or knockout or submission. What's the height and all that? 6'6", 75, 69. I'm feeling a submission more, to be honest. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of leaning towards submission more. Yeah, give me Quillan Salkilld by submission. I think in the second. Yeah, either. I don't know. Like I'm thinking in my head knockout or submission, and submission's winning a little bit. So I'll go with that. Maybe I'll change my pick. We'll see in that regard. Not who I'm picking. But, how I'm picking Quillan to win. Right now I'm leaning submission, so that's what I'm gonna go with. So, as of right now, I picked start tonight, Quillan Salkilld by submission, and I believe the second, I don't think he'll get him out there in round 1 unless he wants to. But I could see a second round submission, so we'll see. But yeah, I think that'll be my pick for right now. Maybe I change it to knockout. We'll see, but right now my pick to start tonight, Quillan Salkilld by submission in second. Quick, simple, easy. Again, one of the hardest part of your fight is how do you get finished. That says a lot. Good to have you back, Jubli, because you're just an easy pick. Easy guy to pick against. Can't wait. Quillan Salkilld submission second. Let's start the night right with an easy pick for the Aussies. After that, we go to our second fight of the early prelims, the hardest fight on the early prelims to predict, but even this one might just be me overthinking more than anything, as in our second fight of the night in the welterweight division. We have a weird fight, not a very weird fight, and one that I've kind of not really been able to read. Like, I've kind of had a few struggles with this one, thinking about it. And then our second fight of the early prelims, we move up 15 pounds to welterweight for a fight between Kevin Jousset versus Jonathan the Captain Micallef. I'm getting that Micallef, I guess how you'd say that. Micallef. I'm gonna say Micallef, but I don't know if that's right. I doubt it, but who fucking knows. Kind of the battle of crowd favorites here, because you got Jousset, who trains at CKB, and you got Jonathan, who's actually Australian, so we'll see who actually gets the advantage there in the crowd department, because both have ties to Australia, New Zealand, all that, so we'll see who gets the edge there. But we do gotta see who actually has the edge in the fight when they fight, so that's more important than anything. So let's get into this fight. Weird fight, definitely a weird fight. Debutant versus the guy coming off his first UCL. Very interesting, so let's get into it as we begin with Kevin Jousset. Kevin in the UFC is 2-1. His 2 UFC wins to start off his career were Kiefer Crosby and Kenan Song, and then his last fight he got beat by Brian Battle, which is no shame there. In the first 3 UFC fights he looked good. Beat Kiefer Crosby pretty easily, as you should. Destroyed Kenan Song for 15 minutes, as you should. And then the UFC gave him a step up, a big one at that against Brian Battle at home in Paris, and he got his ass beat pretty badly. Got just beat up, and then finished in round 2. Not the homecoming he was probably wanting, but that's what happens when you fight fucking Brian Battle, who's just on a tear right now. I didn't know he fought JDM. Sweet. I still think Jousset is an interesting prospect. A few people I think called him a fraud after that fight. I don't get it, because Brian Battle's really good and Jousset's really young. I still think Jousset has some talent. I still think his striking's really good. Just Brian Battle's he just drains you. I think he has good grappling, which is rare to say about a city kickboxing guy. Or decent enough grappling to where he can he's not a liability on the ground, as we saw in the Kiefer Crosby fight. His cardio might be questionable, but again, that might just be Brian Battle being Brian Battle. And the UFC's giving him a pretty favorable matchup here to get a win for CKB on this card, so I don't think Jousset's a fraud yet. If he loses this, yes, but I don't think he's a fraud. I still think he has a lot of good things in his game. I still think he's a positive in a lot of aspects of the game, striking, grappling. I don't really think he's a liability in many areas. I think he's decent. I still think he's a very decent fighter, still a very decent prospect at welterweight. They just fed him to the goddamn wolves, known as Brian Battle. So we'll see if he can bounce back. He now fought in Paris. Now he's back in Australia. Where was his debut? In Perth? Oh, right back where his debut was. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not gonna shit on Kevin yet, especially when he's getting a very favorable matchup here. So let's see what he does with it. Let's see if he can bounce back and prove that, yeah, he lost to Brian Battle, but Brian Battle is really damn good. So let's see, man. I'm intrigued. Good. Let's see what Jousset can do. Is he the only city kickboxing dude on the card? Does Jimmy Crute go there? Oh no, Colby's Thicknesse, yeah. So maybe 2 or 3 others. So, but Jousset starts the night for him. So let's see what he can do. To talk about his opponent, Jonathan Micallef. I don't fucking know. Jonathan is making his UFC debut, of course, coming off Contender Series where he got a nice submission in round 1. I really don't remember his Contender Series fight. I remember the finish and all that, but outside of that, I don't remember much. I believe he was starting off the last Contender Series week of the year, so there's that. And he beat a Canadian, which kinda is not impressive anymore because for some reason Canadians on Contender Series are just cursed. So, it's alright, Canada. You got Jasmine Jasvicious at least. I really don't know what to say about Johnson since I've seen so little of him fighting. I've seen him fight for 3 minutes. And I think most of that was on the ground, so 7-1. It looks like he's very well-rounded. 2 KOs, 3 submissions. What the fuck is this? Unknown round? What? There's only fucking 5 you could win in, dog. Okay. And 2 some decisions, so he seems to be well-rounded. He's 25 years old, very young, just like Quillan was. We'll see what the kid can do. He's definitely getting a lot harder of a fight than Quillan. So clearly UFC either doesn't like him or are really intrigued to see what he can do. I think this kind of shows who they see more as a prospect. I think they view Quillan better than Jonathan, giving him a much, much easier fight. So let's see if Jonathan can prove the UFC and all of us wrong by getting a big debut win, because beating Kevin Jousset in your debut would be fucking impressive. So we'll see. I don't really have much to say. He's definitely, out of all the debutants on the card, I have really the least to say. I remember his fight very vividly. So, and he's getting a really tough debut, so let's see what he can do, man. Let's see what he can do. Can he shock the people who are watching the early prelims? We'll see. Jonathan Micallef. Let's see what he can do. The betting odds for this fight have Kevin Jousset minus 240 to plus 200. Yeah, that'd kind of be hard to say. I disagree with that. He could be minus 250. I think he should win. Like, he's more experienced. I think, the better fighter, probably. He has better striking. Micallef might have a better ground game, but we'll find out. Jousset had been in the UFC now for a few fights. Micallef made his debut at home, so who knows how the jitters are there. This just looks like a fight to get Kevin Jousset back on track. Which I don't know why you'd use a Contender Series guy you signed for that, but Dana. That's what I think this fight is. Get CKB a W, get Kevin Jousset back on track, and if Micallef does pull off the upset, you got a new good prospect, so it's kind of a win-win for the UFC. So, I get it, but it's also kind of like you could have had these 2 fight other guys, especially since the crowd would cheer for both of them against different guys, but you know, that would actually make a fucking lick of sense, so, and UFC don't do that, so, yeah. Whatever. So, I'm gonna go Kevin Jousset by decision. I think he probably wins this fight, kind of like the Jared Gooden, was it Gooden or Gordon? Jared, or Kenan Song, I mean, I got him mixed up, because he was meant to fight Jared Good, and this probably goes like the Kenan Song fight, where I think Jousset, they would just stay at range and pick Micallef, stop some takedowns, and probably win a 29-28 or 30-27. Probably just a better fighter. The little I've seen of Micallef was not really that memorable, so I remember Jousset more, so let's see Jousset get back on track. Second pick of the night, Kevin Jousset by decision. Let's see if Micallef can spoil CKB's return home. I don't think he will, though. Kevin Jousset by decision. And now for our featured early prelim, we head back down 15 pounds to the lightweight division for a very interesting debut, one I'm very excited for, and maybe the most, well, Jubli's a lot more one-sided of a fight, but I think this could be more of a mauling. As in our featured early prelim and the lightweight division, we end the early prelims with Kody Steele, or I think just Steele, versus Rongzhu. Well, we had no Aussies here, which is a weird booking decision, but we got a pretty easy fight to predict, so we got that at least. I think we all know this fight is kind of the same thing as the Quillan fight, especially since you've probably heard about Kody Steele by now, because they have actually been promoting this fight a good amount. So that kind of tells you a lot right there. Another cannon fodder fight. A lot of debut fights are like that, but that's what you need these shitty fighters for, like Rongzhu, to feed to the debutants and make them look good. So let's see if he does his job. Let's see if Kody can do his job, which is win. As we start with him and the breakdown. Kody making the UFC debut, 7-0, coming out to Contender Series where he looked really good. He's coming from those grappling tournaments the UFC loves to run. Like, I guess he's one of those guys the UFC's really high on. And he's transferred over to MMA in the last few years and has picked up a nice 7 wins. He grappled Gregory Rodriguez. Goddamn. Dude, not that. Goddamn, Kody, you're not that tall. Not really beating anyone great, but when you start your career 3 years ago, I guess, I don't expect you to be fighting top tier guys right off rip. Then he finally did have his chance to have his Contender Series debut, and he looked really good. Striking's good, grappling's good. Shockingly, he has more knockouts than submissions. He only has 1 submission win, as he's came from the fucking grappling side of things. So that's interesting. He could be one of those guys who it's like really fucking good, because his striking is getting good, his grappling's good, his cardio seems decent, he's 29 years old, very young. This kid could be good. Like, the biggest problem I could see with him is that lightweight, which is a murderer's row. So, and I don't think he's very tall. I swear he seems short, especially for lightweight. Where's his height? 5'9". Yeah, I imagine him in there with Joe Alvarez and Jalen Turner, so that might be a problem down the road. But right now, that's not really a problem, so right now, all he has to focus on is destroying Rongzhu in his debut, which should be pretty easy. So, I think Steele is one of the most interesting guys from last season, because again, I could just see him being one of those guys who's really fucking good. Like, again, he seems very well rounded. What camp? I swear he goes to a really solid camp as well. Oh yeah, John Wood, fucking training with all. Oh yeah, I thought he trained from Marab. So yeah, this guy's gonna be good. I just have a feeling. I don't know if he's gonna be champion, but I could see him in the top 15 if he keeps getting better over the next few years. Because he is already 29. That is a problem. Already being 29, but he's so young to his career. He's barely taking any damage. I guess that's not really a big deal if you think about it. So we'll see. We'll see. I think Kody's gonna be one of those guys to keep an eye on over the next few years. Like, he could be one of those guys from the Contender Series who actually is really fucking good. like, could be, like, a real, like, top 15 level guy, which has been rare to see from Contender Series guys lately, so we'll see what Kody can do. So, I'm intrigued. I'm very fucking intrigued. So, see what Kody can do. And is he Australian? Because why is he on this card? No. Weird. Let's see what Kody can do in his debut. UFC's high on him. I think he's an interesting prospect. Let's see if he can live up to the hype. To talk about his cannon fodder, opponent, same thing. Rongzhu. Wrong, back in the UFC, of course, after his first UFC stint, and he's already back to losing again. How is this motherfucker 24? Fucking psychopath. 1-3 in the UFC now. In his first UFC run, he beat Brandon Jenkins, lost to Rodrigo Vargas and Ignacio Palamondes, missed weight twice, and then he went on a nice winning streak, winning the road to UFC, just to fight Chris Padilla in his return debut, and he got fucking annihilated. Elbow right to the eye, swole up badly, it's over. Another L for Rongzhu. Like, I get Zhu is very young. He has a lot of fights on his record, but he's just not that good. Like, he just can't compete in the UFC against, like, real fighters. Yeah, he beat Brandon Jenkins, a guy who's a fucking karate combat champion, who I like karate combat, but it's not really, like, the highest level. Like, yeah, he won the road to UFC, which has been proven to be fucking awful, in my opinion. Like, there's been no good fighters to come from there, I swear to God. So, yeah, that, and, he's just not that good. And now you're giving him Kody Steele, we know what you're doing here. Good luck, Rongzhu. Like, the UFC is just... Ignacio Palamondes, Chris Padilla, Kody Steele, his last 3 UFC fights. Dude, that's a murderer's row. Like, as bad as I think Rongzhu is, I don't think many guys are gonna do good with that at their last 3 UFC fights, so... Good luck, brother. You're gonna need it. I don't really know where he's gonna beat Kody, if he did pull off the upset. Cody's probably as good, if not a better striker. Cody's way better on the ground. Kody has better cardio, has better heart. Good luck, Rongzhu. You're gonna fucking need it, man. Good luck. The betting odds for this I have Kody Steele minus 240 to plus 195. I think that's criminally low. Kody Steele should be like minus 600-700. He's my lock of the night. Like, I know Quillan's in an easier fight, but Kody Steele, I just think is like gonna run circles around Rongzhu. Like, I think both are gonna win, Kody and Quillan, but like I just think Kody against a little bit harder of an opponent, but I just think he's better than Quillan, and I think he's just like I don't know where Rongzhu can beat Kody. I'm not saying I don't think Jubli can beat Quillan really anywhere, but still, I think Cody's gonna run through Rongzhu. Like, this is just gonna go really bad for Rong. And I almost feel bad for the guy, because again, he kind of gets fucking a deadly 3-fight fucking streak in the UFC, but you keep taking the fights, the UFC's gonna keep giving you them. So, my pick obviously is Kody Steele, my lock of the night, and I'm gonna go by... I feel another submission. I feel a first round submission. I think he's gonna run through Rongzhu, take him down, grab a neck or fucking ankle, whatever, and just put him out. So, I could see a striking finish, but I'm getting a submission vibe. Yeah, give me Kody Steele by submission the first, I think. I could see a knockout, but I'm leaning submission, so... It's tough to pick between those two, but I think Rongzhu is a better striker than any other grappler, clearly. So, and Kody is a better grappler than Rongzhu by a mile. Give me Kody Steele by submission the first. Maybe I'll change that, kind of like the Quillan one, but I'm feeling submissions. I don't know why. I just think the UFC is giving these two dudes who are really good grapplers, two guys who are not very good grapplers. I think Jubli is a better grappler than Rongzhu, but that's just because he's lengthy. Rongzhu is just not a good grappler, so... more than likely Zhu and Jubli are gonna get fucking mauled. It's just how do they get finished, and I'm gonna say both by submission, I guess. Kody Steele, submission in the first. I think he's gonna get him out there, bare minimum, so let's see it. My lock of the night and my final pick of the early prelims, Kody Steele by submission in the first. Bang. Well, those are the early prelims. Not bad. Not bad at all. Got 3 debutants. Got 2 of them probably going to win in very easy fights. The other one probably going to be a nice win for Kevin Jousset. So, yeah. Like, it sucks to lose a fight, like I said, with the Hong Song Park fight. But what can you do? That was easily the worst early prelim by a good margin, so I'm still happy with these 3. I think these are 3 good early prelims, and showing up a lot of young talent, which good. I'll give this card one thing. They have a lot of young talent on it. I don't think a pay-per-view should be what you use for that, but you know, what do I know? What I do know is I think those are good early prelims, and a good way to lean into a very fun prelims. So, without anything more to really say about the EPs, let's get into the PPs. Pause. And we begin with my favorite prelim, a fight I can't wait for because it's so fucking interesting. As we have debut versus debut, Ilya versus Volk. We have to begin the prelims, a debut battle between Aleksandre El Conquistador Topuria versus Colby Thicknesse. Yeah. I can't wait for this fight. We had Ilya's brother versus Aleksandre Volkanovski's training partner. They're both going to be in the corner. Ilya versus Volk 2. Y'all asked for it. I didn't, because I think it's stupid. Y'all asked for it, and here it is. Ilya Volk 2. A little lower level between 2 guys who probably shouldn't even be in the UFC, but I don't care. This is awesome. I can't wait. I'm trying to remember who is Colby Thicknesse. Oh, Cody Haddon. Yeah, this is meant to be Cody Haddon and Topuria, but now it's even better. So thank you, Cody Haddon, for pulling out. It'd been cool to see you on the card, but I'm not upset. So, God, I can't wait for this fight. It's my favorite prelim. It's so fucking good. Maybe my second favorite fight on the card, to be honest. I'm so excited for this fight. 2 debutantes. I don't got a lot to say. Let's see it. Let's begin with the finally debuting Aleksandre Topuria. Again, obviously Ilya Topuria's brother. 5-1 in his MMA career, and kind of known as a can crusher. And can you see why? 0-3, 1-1, 7, 18-1, 1-9, 3-1. And then he lost to a debutant a few years ago. This is his first fight in 2 years. He is 29 years old. He's more than likely just a nepotism hire. I don't think he's actually good, unless maybe out of nowhere he's got good, but I highly doubt it. He's just here because Ilya's great. He would never. It just screams the same vibes as Blood Diamond, Martin Sano, if you remember that legend. So many others. So we'll see. I think Topuria will probably be embarrassed very quickly, if not even in this fight, because I've not heard many good things about Aleksandre. I don't think he's Ilya. I don't think many people are Ilya level, but I really don't think Aleksandre Topuria is going to be Ilya's level. So we'll see. Maybe he can shock everyone and look amazing, but I don't know. We're gonna find the fuck out. 5-1 debut after 2 years. Let's see what is he younger or older than Ilya? I forget. I think Ilya's in his 30s. Oh no, let's see what Big Bro can do. So, let's see. And then talk about his opponent, the other debuting, Colby Thicknesse. Amazing name. Coming from the CKB, training with Aleksandre Volkanovski, of course. He is 7-0. not really any great wins. Well, actually, he's been beating better competition, it seems. 4-0, 7-3, 4-2, 5-3. He has fought more recently in November 2024, actually having 4 fights in 2024, which is impressive, so he's stayed active. He seems to be well-rounded. Just 2-2-3, good there. 25 years old. We'll see what this guy can do. I've heard very little about this guy until he got this fight booked, so we'll see. We'll see what he can do against Ilya's bro. Let's see if he can get revenge for Volk. We'll find out. I can't really think much to say. Outside of he trained with Volk, he's undefeated. He's fought more recently and seems to be well-rounded. Let's see what the Thicknesse can do. Are you down to Thicknesse? The Bang Answers fight are a little crazy, but I would say even not really knowing these two. Aleksandre, Topuria, I want to say Ilya so bad. From -410 to +320. Is Colby Thicknesse really that shitty? I don't know about that. I would probably have to pick them because I don't know either, and I don't think either are probably that great. It's funny, people have shit on Aleksandre Topuria just to make him -410 favorite, so explain that logic. I guess being Thicknesse has better wins, like not many, but better wins, so I don't know, we're gonna find out, because I can't really, I've never seen either of these two fight. I've never even heard of Thicknesse till this was booked last week, and Topuria I've heard about as just a can crusher, so we'll see who can do what. Let's see who's a real prospect, or let's see who's a nepotism hire, or hopefully they're not both nepotism hired. So, knock on wood, at least one of them has to be good, right? Right? Let's find out. Again, I think the betting odds should be probably a pick 'em if these guys, if Topuria is a can crusher, but what did that tell you? And who am I picking? I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy this. I really don't care who wins, but I'll probably put my pick in as Colby Thicknesse. First of all, how do you not pick a guy with that name? Second of all, yeah, he has to get revenge for Volky. He has to get revenge for Volk. And third, Topuria is a can crusher, so triple whammy. Give me Colby Thicknesse by decision. I don't know what's gonna happen in this fight. I don't know what to expect from these two. I know I'm just fucking excited. I can't wait for this fight. My second favorite fight on the card. Let's fucking do it. Topuria versus Volk 2. Let's see who gets the W. I'm gonna go Colby Thicknesse by decision, just because. I don't know who's gonna win. I don't care who wins. Just have a banger. I can't wait. Great fight. After that, we go to our second fight of the prelims in the women's flyweight division. A weight class move up here for one of these two. As in our second fight of the prelims in the women's flyweight division, we have a Striker's Delighted, more than likely, between the Joker, Cong, Wang, versus Bruna, the Special One, Brasil. A Striker's Delight here, it would seem, more than likely, I would hope, since we had one person who's a really good striker and the other who mainly strikes, but Bruna can grapple. And Bruna is moving up to flyweight for this fight, I believe, so that's going to be interesting. I thought Cong was moving down, to be honest, when I first saw this fight, but I guess Bruna's moving up, so interesting. Yeah, I'd probably need a little bit easier of a weight cut, so, and she made weight perfectly, so maybe it's the right move. We're gonna find out. So, yeah, this is a good fight. This is gonna be a really good fight, and let's talk about it. We'll begin with the fraud, Cong Wang. Not much to say. 1-1 in UFC. In her debut, she looked flawless versus Victoria Leonardo, and then she fought Gabriel Fernandez in her next fight. Ugh. Yeah, she got fraud checked. Fucking And I got clubbed and subbed by Gabriel Fernandez as a -1,000 favorite, the biggest upset of 2024. What the fuck, Cong? Like, if you just got grappled the whole time, fine. You got clubbed and subbed. So you did your fucking specialty. It's like, come on. She's 32 years old. She clearly does not have what it takes to be that great. If Gabriela Fernandez can beat you, you never even hurt her or got close to finishing her. Yeah, you're not gonna be long in UFC. You were meant to be the female Piera because you beat Valentina in the past, but clearly you ain't him. So, 32 years old, coming off getting fraud checked. Maybe she can bounce back, but I highly doubt in 4 months she's gotten better. Or not yet, 2 to 4 months she's gotten better. So, yeah, probably gonna be the same fighter that just got fraud checked. And I know that term gets thrown around a lot, but she's a -1,000 favorite versus Gabriela Fernandez. Very Maria Akapova vibes, so, yeah. To talk about her opponent, Bruna, Brasil. Bruna in the UFC has been very weird. 2-2, coming off a beautiful Contender Series knockout. In her debut, got smashed by Denise Gomes. Kind of understandable. Then she beat Shana Banan, as you should. Then she lost to Luma Lukbumi. Understandable. And then she destroyed Molly McCann. So, 2 wins against 2 tomato cans, 2 losses versus 2 good fighters, ranked level fighters. She seemed like a fight-by-fight thing, at least at strawweight. It seemed like she was like fight-by-fight. Like against Luciana and Molly, she looked really good. Against Luma and Denise, she did not look very good. So, it's just a fight-by-fight thing, but also I guess that's what happens when you fight 2 ranked level fighters like Denise Gomes and Luma Lukbumi. So, and I think ain't Bruna pretty young? Oh, she's in her 30s, damn. And then Shana and Molly, you should beat with ease every time, so. Simple as that. I think Bruna's interesting. I think she's a very interesting fighter. She is a fighting nerd, which is already some aura gained. 31 years old, really good striker. Her ground game is not terrible. I think she's more well-rounded than Cong Wang. Maybe the move up is what she needed, an extra 10 pounds will never hurt. She's kind of fighting her, like, doppelganger to an extent. I think her and Cong are very much alike in ways. So, we'll see how that plays out. They're both lengthy kickboxers. So, we'll see how that plays out. Should be interesting in that regard. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see how Bruna does. This is easily the best striker she has fought. Like Denise is a good striker, but she's also kind of just run for it. Like, she's very Andrade-like. Luma Lukbumi, I think, took her down more than anything, and Molly McCann is trash. So, you know, we'll see if Bruna can fucking play spoiler here. I'm very intrigued. First fight at flyweight, up a weight class against her doppelganger. See what happens. I'm intrigued. The betting odds for this fight have Cong Wang -440 to +340. I don't know how. Like, guys, she already got fraud checked. You don't have to keep boosting her up to a giant favorite. Let alone against someone who's pretty good compared to her. So, I think these betting odds are crazy. I think Bruna Brasil is the best underdog on the card in general, let alone at that fucking price. Come on, I don't know how you could put Cong Wang at that 5 favorite after fucking getting beat by Gabriela Fernandez. She gets beat by a worse fighter, and she's a giant favorite. She gets beat by a worse fighter than Bruna, and she's a giant favorite. Huh? Come on. Being silly now. Yeah, Cong has good power, but she couldn't hurt Gabriela Fernandez. Come on now. Come on. We're being silly. So, I think the betting odds are fucking crazy. I think they should be a lot closer. And I'm gonna go Bruna Brasil. I think she's more well-rounded. I think she's as good, if not maybe a little worse on the feet, but still, and she had the grappling in her back pocket, something even Gabriel Fernandez didn't have. She just fell into a goddamn submission. You're telling me someone who has the same amount of striking ability almost as Cong Wang, who's about her size, a fighting nerd, and has good grappling, against Cong Wang, who just lost to Gabriel Fernandez? I'm taking Bruna Brasil. I just don't get what these betting odds are saying. Like, they are really just fucking won't let Cong Wang go. Like, she gets fraud checked and then fights a better fighter. And is still a giant favorite. How? That makes no fucking sense. So, give me Bruna Brasil by decision. I think she's better. I think she's going to be smart and try and take down Cong Wang. And it might not be the most exciting, but I think she's gonna fucking just be the smarter, better fighter. So, give me Bruna Brasil by decision. I think she'll just do the smarter things to win and get the win. So, it's hard to pick a fraud versus another very good fighter when she just lost to a shit fighter. So, give me Bruna Brasil by decision. I think the best underdog on the card. These fucking betting odds are batshit crazy. But we'll see if I'm right or if I'm dumb. Usually dumb. But last week I guess I was on the fucking money, so we're gonna find the fuck out, aren't we? Bruna Brasil by decision. After that we head to our co-main event of the prelims, a fight that probably should be a little bit higher, but you know, someone's gonna get knocked out, more than likely. And then our co-main event, the prelims, we have a banger in the lightweight division, as we have another more than likely striker's delight between Tom Fraud Train Nolan versus Viacheslav Slavaklaus Borshchev. Yeah, someone's getting put out. Someone's getting knocked the fuck out in this fight, because these two dudes don't really have that great of striking defense, and these two dudes actually have decent striking. Neither of these guys want to grapple, they just want to fight. This is going to be good. I'm actually pretty excited for this fight, because someone's getting finished. Someone's hitting that mat out. Well, either hitting that mat and getting finished, or hitting that mat out cold. Who's it going to be? We'll see. Probably not going past round one, at least it shouldn't. Let's see what happens between two very powerful 155ers. We'll begin with Fraud Nolan. This dude is so bad. 2-1 in the UFC, coming out Contender Series, and Bogdangrad win has aged a little bit decently. And then his UFC debut happened where Nicholas Moda fraud checked him in 9:63 seconds. Good job. And then he fought Victor Martinez, didn't look that good, in my opinion. And then he fought Alex Reyes and looked even worse. This dude's just not good. Like, he's a fun fighter, but he's not good. Like, he needs to get dropped to actually fight decently. He couldn't finish Alex Reyes, who's a joke. Like, he's been so unimpressive in UFC, and he's been fighting tomato cans. Nicholas Moda, who's not very good, knocked him out in 63 seconds. Victor Martinez, who's terrible, almost finished him. He dropped him, cut him open badly. And Alex Reyes, who's awful, took him 15 minutes. Come on, man. You should be finishing. You should be on a 3-fight knockout streak. Undefeated still, coming into this fight riding high. When instead you're 2-1, coming off a goddamn decision versus Alex Reyes. A Reyes brother. The Reyes boys who are known for having no fucking chins. Come on, I get you're 24 years old, but dude, come on. If you want to be this, people want to hype you up as this fucking prospect, look like it. Right now, you just look like a fun fighter. And then the Reyes fight wasn't even fun. So, hopefully he can fucking look decent here and have a fun fight. I think you gotta try to have a bad fight with Slavaklaus. But, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what Nolan can do. This is easily the best striker he's fought. Even though he's been dropped by 2 other ones. So, take that as you will. Let's see what the Fraud Train can do. At home again. Let's see. Talking about his opponent, Slavaklaus Borshchev. Slava in UFC is 3-3-1. His 3 wins since Contender Series, and another guy who beat UFC, a future UFC guy, Chris Duncan. His 3 wins have been Dakota Bush, Machete, and James Lalantop, and his 3 losses have been Mark Diakase, Mike Davis, and Chase Hooper, with a draw against Nazim Sedikov. His wins have not been great. Dakota Bush, trash. Machete, not very good. James Lalantop, he looked better than Rufy did. His losses, Mark and Mike just cuddled him, didn't even want to fight him. Chase Hooper did fight him, dropped him, and beat the shit out of him. And then a beautiful banger of Nazim Sedikov that everyone enjoyed. So, a weird career for Slava. When he actually gets to fight, he does good. Then he has to fight grapplers, and he does bad. So, he's really, like, Slava in just kickboxing would be a top 15 dude. He's really fucking good. But then you gotta factor in grappling. Even though his grappling might be getting better, it's just still not that great. And at 33 years old, how great are you really gonna get your grappling this late to your career? He does have Team Alpha Male, and Faber's always in his corner, so that's definitely a plus. But clearly the Cali kid has not helped his grappling much, so I think he stopped a few takedowns against Lalantop, or maybe even shot him. But overall, his grappling is still not great. Thank God he's fighting a guy who somehow is even a shittier grappler. So, yeah. Not really much to say about Slava. He's a great kickboxer. His ground game is pretty weak, but that should not be a problem here. If he touches your chin, you're going down, and, yeah, kind of the same thing as the Bruna and Cong Wang fight. He's kind of fighting a doppelganger who's just shittier. The shittier doppelganger of himself, so we'll see how he does against that doppelganger, how he's fighting style-wise. Again, this fight shouldn't go past round 1. Someone should be going out cold pretty quickly. Let's find out who that is. Usually in a Slava Claus fight, if those are the rules, it's not him, so let's fuck around and find out. The betting odds have Slava Claus minus 135 plus 115. I think they got a little closer today, but I don't think they're, I think Slava's so tiny favorite, like minus 120. I would have Slava minus like 160, 170. At most 170. He's better. He's more experienced than Tom Nolan. He's better than Tom Nolan. Yeah, he's a little bit shorter, yeah, but Nolan gets cracked every fight. Slava Claus is not going to crack you and let you survive. He's never done that. He's going to crack that chin and finish him, like he's done all of his wins. That's just what Slava Claus does. If no one lets that chin get cracked like he always does, he's going night-night. But if no one can connect, because no one does have power, I'll give him that, Slava will go down. Which that will be impressive. But can Nolan do that? I don't think so. I don't think he's good enough. He's not that good. I'm not impressed with Nolan. I don't know how you could be in UFC with how bad he's looked. So, if in a fight where this probably ends in round 1, I'm taking Slava Claus. Neither guy's gonna want to grapple because they can't grapple, and it's just gonna wear him out. Neither guy is a good grappler. Neither guy knows any submissions. They just want to kickbox. In a kickboxing match, I'm taking Slava Claus 10 out of 10 times against Tom Nolan. So give me Slava Claus by knockout in the first. I don't see this fight going past round 1. If it does, it's a fucking war crime. And, yeah, I'm not picking against Slava Claus in a kickboxing match. That's just stupid. Give me Slava Claus by knockout in the first. Just a better fighter. And if it did go to the ground, I think Slava Claus has a better ground game. So, we'll see if I'm correct in that statement. But I'm going Slava Claus by knockout first. He's gonna crack that chin, and no one ain't gonna be able to survive this time. Sorry, brother. And now for our featured prelim. Definitely what I think you should swap. This is a Tom Nolan fight, but what do I know? As in our featured prelim in the featherweight division, we have an interesting fight. Nothing amazing here, but very interesting. as we have to end the prelims, Jack Farr Jenkins versus Gabriel Masquintino Santos. Interesting fight, very interesting fight. I don't know why this is the early featured prelim over Nolan, or even Cong, Wang, or Topuria. This is easily the worst of the 4 prelims. I think the Kody, Steele, and the what's-his-face fight are better. So, the Jubli fight, so I think they should be on the early prelims, to be honest. I think it's probably the second worst prelim on the card. Nothing is a bad fight, I just don't really think it's that amazing. And weird featured prelim, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these guys will prove me wrong, so please do, but I'm just not really looking at this fight as featured prelim level, so maybe it's just me. But besides that, let's get into this fight. Pretty even fight. I'm intrigued to see what happens here, so let's see what happens. We'll begin with Farr Jack Jenkins. Jack in the UFC is 3-1, coming out of Contender Series. His 3 wins have been Don Shanis, Jamal Emmers, and Herbert Burns, with his 1 loss being Shepe Marshall, which is no shame there. Shepe is really good. Jenkins is alright. He's not that great, but he's not terrible in my opinion. He looked okay against Don Shanis. He looked subpar versus Jamal Emmers. A lot of people don't think he even won that fight. In his return fight against Herbert Burns, he looked great, but it's Herbert Burns. You should be looking good. And against Shepe Marshall, he did break his arm, so that sucks, but shit happens. Jenkins is very average, if that. I don't think he's that great of a fighter. He looked mid versus Don Shanis and Jamal Emmers. That's not really a great thing. He is so young. I think he's 28. He's 30. Oh, goddamn, these fucking young fighters are getting old. He's not bad. His striking's alright. His cardio's not great. His grappling's okay-ish. He's not amazing, but he's definitely not that good. He's very beatable. If he fought the higher echelon of the unranked guys, he'd definitely lose. If you had him fight fucking Steve Garcia, he's getting fucking flatlined, or fucking a few guys I could think of. He's gonna lose, but UFC keeps giving him pretty easy, not easy, but not tough matchups. Shepe, they didn't even know Shepe was that good yet, so they kind of fucked up there. But, Jenkins is fine. I think he's average. I don't think he's gonna do much in the UFC, but he can beat bad fighters and he'll lose to good ones. Good thing he's not really fought a really good one yet outside of Shepe. Even that point even stands with this fight that he's having on this card, so yeah, not very much else to say. We'll see what Farr can do in his return home. Return home in 2025. I think have all his fights outside of the fucking Jamal Emmers fight been in Australia. Crazy. To talk about his opponent, Gabriel Santos. Gabriel is 1-2 in the UFC, really 2-1. In his debut, he beat Lerone Murphy, which that has aged amazingly. And then he lost to David Onama in his next fight, which, okay, shit happens. And then he beat Yi Za, or Za Yi, however you say it, in September last year. Weird UFC career so far, beating Lerone Murphy in his debut. I don't care what the fucking that he won that fight clearly. Getting beat by David Onama, that's shouldn't it be the other way around? You should beat Onama and whatever. Getting knocked out by David Onama is not a great look. A guy who's fine, but Onama I don't look at very great. And then he kicked the shit out of Yiza, badly. So I'll give him respect there. He beat the shit out of Yiza, but Yiza is not very good. So I in a way I'm I hope you would beat the shit out of him because he's not that good. So now 2-1 in the UFC, getting a fight against Jack Jenkins, who is better than Yi but worse than Onama and Lerone. we'll see. We'll see what happens. I still don't really think much of Gabriel. I think he's fine. Like, yeah, he looked good against Yiza because Yiza is fucking terrible. A guy like that dude fucking he's a road to UFC fighter. So that should give you, that should prove my point right there. And I'm just not really high on Santos. I'm not high on Jenkins either. I think this is the battle of mid. So I just don't really think much of Gabriel. I don't think he's that great of a fighter. He's fine, decent striking. Again, was able to beat Laurel Murphy, so that's something as is. But overall, I'm just not really high on him. I'm just, like, again, I think it's just a battle of mid in this fight. Who's less mid? We're gonna find out. Not really much else to say about Gabriel Santos. Let's see if we can play spoiler. Let's see if we can go into Australia and play spoiler for Far Jack. The back after the fight, I actually think Gabriel Santos will play spoiler, having him minus 230 to plus 190. I don't agree. I would have this probably a pick'em. Again, I think this is the battle of mid. I don't think Jack Jenkins is that good. I don't think Gabriel Santos is that good. I've never really been impressed with either guy. Like, Jenkins has looked mid Jenkins has had very competitive fights with bad fighters. Gabriel Santos has been really up and down his career. I think it's a battle of mid. The question is, who's less mid? I'm gonna go Jack Jenkins, I think. I just think he's a little bit better. Like at home, I think he's a little bit better. If he can just snatch the first 2 rounds early, that'd be really good. I just don't think much of Gabriel. I don't think much of Jenkins either, but who do I think more of as a fighter? Probably Jenkins. I think he's a little better. But I don't, again, I think this is a pick'em. I don't really think I don't think either side of this coin is really great. Excuse me. It's the battle of mid, and in a battle of mid, the question is, who's less mid? I'm gonna say Jack Jenkins at home, so he's gonna get that definitely some judging bias, so that's also something you gotta play into. And I just don't think Santos is that good, so give me Jack Jenkins by decision. We'll see if I'm right. I think this is definitely, out of all of the underdogs I picked on these prelims with Bruna and fucking Thicknesse, this is definitely the one I'm the most hesitant about. But fuck it, give me Far Jack by decision. We'll see. We'll fucking see. It's the battle of mid. Let's see if he's less mid at home. Jack Jenkins by decision. Boom. Finally, the prelims over. They're not bad. They're not bad. It's too bad they're the prelims to a pay-per-view. Like, you got a lot of good debuting fighters, or interesting debuting fighters. You got 2 really good striking matchups right here, and then you got a really weird fight that shouldn't be this high. Yeah, this is weird, but the rest is really fucking good. I'm very excited for these prelims. I think they're going to be very fun. It's just we have to watch the main card after, so all of this, really good. You too, Quillan. Now we go to the main card, which is not a pay-per-view in the goddamn slightest, but oh boy, let's just get this out of the way. An hour and 8 in, it's going to be an hour and a half like always, so let's not waste any more time, and let's just talk about this main card. You ready? I'm not. Can we go back to the prelims? They were more fun. Main card, UFC 312. Let's go. We will begin in the welterweight division with a very okay fight. I don't think it's going to be that great. As in our main card opener, we begin UFC 312 with the Celtic Kid, Jake Matthews, versus Francisco Prado. This is a fight. At least 2 strikers-ish. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this. Why is this on a main card over Slava Claus? Fuck, I'd rather see Topuria and Thicknesse on a main card. Fuck. Let's just get this out of the way. This is... Not great. Not great at all. We begin with the Aussie, the first Aussie of the main card, Jake Matthews, 13-7 in the UFC. God damn, have you had a lot of fights. His most notable wins, I'm not gonna go through all of them because that's fucking stupid. The Leech, Emil Meek, Diego Sanchez, Andre Filo, Darius Flowers, and Phil Rowe. His losses have been, he lost to Oliver Ruben Mercer on The Ultimate Fighter, lost to James Vick, Kevin Lee, Anthony Horbach, Anthony Rocco Martin, Sean Brady, Matthew Semmelsberger, and Michael Morales. Matthews is very mid. He's not great at anything, he's not bad at anything. He's mid. And he's also a very hot and cold fighter. One fight he'll show up and look amazing, like the Fieldho fight. The next fight he's gonna show up and look terrible, like the Semmelsberger fight. So, complete hot and cold fighter, and he's not really great at anything either. His striking has gotten better, but still not great. His ground game is good. He's fine. He's not terrible. He's been in the same spot for most of his UFC career. He's not top 15 level, but he's top 30, top 25. Like, he's fine. He's not terrible. He's not great. He can beat bad fighters. He'll lose to good ones. Not really much else I can say. He's just mid. Never been the most exciting fighter. He's fine. That's all I can say. He's a fine fighter. And looks like he's turning into a win-lose fighter, so that's something. So, we'll see what Jake can do at home. This for his first fight at home in a long time. Since Emil Meek, 2020. Interesting. Well, we'll see what Jake can do. 30 years old now, even though I thought he'd been in UFC for fucking ever, 10 years. Crazy. Let's see what Jake can do at home. First time in a while. Let's see what he can do. To talk about his opponent, Francisco Prado. Prado in UFC is 1-2. His one win was against Otman Zaitar, and his two losses have been Jamie Malarkey and Daniel Zellhuber. In the Malarkey fight, he stepped in on short notice to fight Malarkey, and he looked okay. Nothing great. Didn't look terrible. Then he smashed Otman Zaitar in his only win so far. And then Daniel Zellhuber was able to pick him apart at range for 15 minutes. So, and we've not seen him in almost a year since that fight. Prado's okay. Like, if he's gonna win a fight, it's because it turned into a brawl. He's not able to win these calm, like, skill for skill fights, as you can see. He wants to make it a brawl, and he wants to knock your chin into the fifth row. If he can't do that, then you are gonna beat him. That simple. If he can't make it a fucking dirty fight, then he ain't gonna be able to win that fight. So it's pretty cut and dry what Francisco Prado is gonna try and do, and if you don't allow him to do that, then you're gonna fucking beat him. So pretty simple. So I can't really say much more about Prado. Kid's got a good chin, has a lot of heart. He's very young, 22 years old, good power in his hands, but if he can't make it a brawl, I don't think he can win a fight skill for skill. So yeah. And this is his first fight at welterweight, so that's kind of interesting as well. The betting odds for this fight have Jake Matthews minus 220 to plus 180. Yeah, I would say that's probably pretty much how I would have him. Jake should win. Again, and he's gonna fight a smart fight. He's probably gonna shoot some takedowns, pick his shots well, and just have it be his type of fight. When Prado rushes in for a fucking war, he's probably gonna just shoot on him and take him down. Jake Matthews is not gonna want to have that fucking firefight with Prado. If he does, he's probably gonna get knocked out. So Jake's just gonna be smart and make it a fucking skill for skill fight. And when he does, it's probably gonna be a 30-27 decision for him. So not really much to say. Give me Jake Matthews by decision. He should be able to just be the smarter, better fighter. Unless he's stupid and goes into the firefight with Prado, which he shouldn't. Jake should be able to bring a W, get a W here, in maybe not exciting fashion, but fashion. So, in a fight that's skill for skill, give me Jake Matthews. But if he tries to have that firefight with Prado, it's gonna be scary. Give me Jake Matthews by decision. Just fight smarter, not harder. After that, we go to our second fight of the main card. A fight that's gonna be good. A fight that's probably gonna end inside the distance, which means someone's getting knocked the fuck out. And a fight I'm excited for, as we have a return after many months away. As in our second fight of the main card, we had to light heavyweight for a fight between Jimmy the Brute Crute versus Rodolfo Traitor Bellato. Jimmy Crute is back. He is not dead. He did not retire. He is finally back after a year and a half away. And, yeah, his return probably goes as good as his exit went the first time. The first thing I'll say about this fight is this is not the fight they booked at first. They tried to give Crute a layup against Marcin Prachnio. That fell through. Bellato steps in. And, yeah, Jimmy Crute is fucked. He is so fucked. But maybe he's not. It's light heavyweight, you never know. So, let's get into it. And we'll begin with the returning Jimmy Crute. Crute in the UFC is 4-1. He started off so well, and then it went so wrong. His 4 wins coming off Contender Series are Paul Craig, Sam Alvey, Michael Oleszejczuk, and Modestas Bukauskas. His losses are Misha Serkinov, Anthony Smith, Jamal Hill, and Alonzo Menafield. Yeah, he's not very good. Even if you look at his wins, he didn't beat anyone that good, so the fact that he was some hyped up prospect's kind of funny. And then he lost to Anthony Smith, and nothing went good after that for him. Smith beat him, Jamal Hill knocked him out, Alonzo Menafield beat him, and now he's been gone for a year and a half, and now he's fighting Rodolfo Bellato. This is do or die for him. If he loses this, he's cut. I don't know how you can keep him around. He should already be cut, in my opinion. But UFC's giving him one more chance. Let's see if he used it to its fullest ability. He's still young. He's only 28, so good time to take time off. Let's see if Jimmy's got better. Let's see if he's let's see if he's a real prospect again, because the guy we saw in his last few fights is terrible. And like I said, the UFC tried to hand him a layup, but all they did was have fucking that layup pull out. And a very tough Bellato step in. So, good luck, Jimmy. You're gonna need it. To talk about his opponent, Rodolfo Bellato, another guy we haven't seen in a while. I forgot. I didn't not even realize he didn't fight in 2024. Bellato 1-0 in the UFC, coming off Contender Series where he did go 1-1. In his UFC debut, he had a banger, one of the best fights of 2023 with Ihor Potieria, and we haven't seen him since. December 23, last time we saw him. Only had one fight booked in 2024 against Omer Asai. That probably thankfully fell through, because fuck, imagine having to I don't want to fight Omer Asai. That's a tough fight. And now he's finally back after his own year off to fight Jimmy Crute. Bellato is kind of a fucking meathead. Like, he's gonna take punishment to give it, take one to give three. Good power in his hands, good chin, good heart. Took a lot of damage versus Ihor, somehow survived. Was able to come back and finish him. Rodolfo's gonna fucking bring it to Jimmy. Jimmy's gonna wanna block, because his chin's gonna get knocked off if it doesn't. Bellato's not great. I do think Bellato loses to a lot of guys because he is very hittable. He is like dude lost to Vitor Petrino, who's ass. But Bellato is going to get beat by better fighters. But in a fight like this against Jimmy Crute, who's very ass, this should be pretty easy for Bellato in my opinion. So we'll see if he can spoil the return. But I think he should. I think he's better than Crute. And a lot harder than Marcin Prach now, that's for sure. So let's see what Bellato can do on pay-per-view. Can he spoil the homecoming and the return? Let's find out. The bang outs got Rodolfo Bellato minus 140 to plus 120. Yeah, you could have him minus 150, 160. 165. He should win this fight pretty easily. I think he's better than Crute. Like, I think he's going to just storm Crute, knock him out before Crute can even knock the ring rust off. And I think it's going to be a pretty bad night for the really bad return for the Brute. So I think the Brute's going to get bullied here and probably get put out pretty quickly. So even Rodolfo Bellato by knockout in the first, I don't think this is going to go good for Jimmy. I do think this is going to end pretty quickly. I don't think this really goes, if this goes into round 2, it's going to end in round 2. And I don't know if it will get that far, so we're going to find out. I'm going to go Rodolfo Bellato by knockout in the first. I think he's going to just storm and break Crute before he can even knock the ring rust off. Sorry. And in that fight, I'm going Rodolfo Bellato by knockout in the first. Not very much else to say. Sorry, Jimmy. You had your time as a prospect, even though you kind of weren't that good anyway. You beat bad fighters. You beat some bums, and you got beat by Misha Serkinov. Gross. But, whatever. Maybe Crute can pull the upset. Never know. It only takes one. But I don't think Crute's going to be able to hit that one he needs. So, give him Rodolfo Bellato by knockout in the first. Not very much else to say. We'll see you in PFL or GFL, Jimmy. After that, we go to our featured fight of the main card, our co-main to the co-main. A fun heavyweight fight that, speaking of ending quickly, this is not making it past round 1, and I can bet on that. And then our featured bout of the main card, our third fight of the main card, our co-main to the co-main. We had to wait for a fun fight that shouldn't be on a pay-per-view, as we have Tallison, Teixeira, not Glover's son, I don't think, versus Justin Bad Man Tafa. Yeah, someone's going to now get fucking put to the Shadow Realm in this fight. Let's see what happens. This should be fun. Someone's going to get put out really, really quickly. Let's find out who it is. We'll begin with the debuting Tallison Teixeira. Teixeira making his UFC debut, coming off Contender Series where he looked really good, getting a knockout in under 2 minutes. Not a lot to really take away from that fight. He looked really good. He's very tall, very lengthy, good power. 7-0. 25 years old. Maybe a good prospect at light heavyweight, or at heavyweight, I mean. We'll see. Knock on wood. Hopefully, we need as many as we can get. Because prospect-wise at heavyweight, we're banking on Mick Parkin, fucking Shamil Gaziev, and Kennedy Nzechukwu. So, we kinda need someone else. So, maybe Teixeira's that guy. I don't know. We're gonna find out. But maybe he is. Maybe he's not. Our UFC's giving him a really big spot here. Justin Tafa on a pay-per-view in Australia. UFC might see something in this kid. But we're gonna find out. We're gonna find the fuck out. So, not really much to say about a dude who fought for 2 minutes and looked good. Now it's time to show up in the big leagues. Will he? Let's find out. To talk about his veteran opponent at this point, Justin Tafa. Tafa in the UFC is 4-4-1. His 4 wins have been Juan Adams, Harry Hunsucker, Parker Porter, and Austin Lane. His 4 losses have been Yorgan De Castro, Carlos Felipe, Jared Bandera, and Carl Williams. When he's like, we can just look past the Carl Williams fight because he just got grappled. When he's had firefights, he has a 50-50 chance with Justin Tafa. Knocked out by De Castro, knocked out Juan Adams, beat by Felipe and Bandera, knocked out Hunsucker, beat Porter, beat Lane. It's a 50-50 shot. He's not really fought many prospects. I think the only one you can really say is Austin Lane, who he fucking demolished. And I guess Carl Williams, but we already knew what that fight was going to be. Williams was just going to take him down, and he did. He's only been KO'd 1 time, which is, I swear, I feel like he's been KO'd more. But 1 time is 1 time. We know Tai Tafa is just like Tai Tuivasa, like pretty much a clone of Tuivasa, if probably better at this point. He hits hard as shit. He's really slow. He has a decent chin. He has no cardio, no ground game. There are really no kicks, especially in this fight. He can't even get his leg up that high. So, yeah, he's just gonna try and swing hooks and hit Teixeira on the chin. Will he be able to? We'll see. We'll see. But, yeah, we know we're getting with Tafa, again, pretty much just Tai Tuivasa. If not a better version at this point, so let's see how Tafa does at home. I feel like he has a good record at home. Let's see, he beat Lane, Porter. He had 2-1, losing to De Castro, so he's on a winning streak at home. Let's see if he can keep it going against Teixeira. The betting odds I have Teixeira minus 155 to plus 130. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I don't see any reason to disagree with that. Like, the only reason you wouldn't have him higher is because he is a debutant. He is a young kid making his debut on a pay-per-view against a veteran in their backyard, so he's gonna get booed. I think Teixeira should win, but I get why he's not a bigger favorite. Like, again, he's a lot of factors playing against a young kid who might not be ready for this moment. But if he can block out the noise and just fight to his ability, I think it's a pretty good chance he probably wins this fight. So, my pick is going to be Tallison Teixeira. I think he should be able to clip Tafa's chin and knock him out early. And that's what I'm going to guess he's going to do. So, yeah, me Teixeira by knockout in the first. We'll see. Let's see which man goes down first. Someone's going to go down early. And I don't think they're going to get up. In terms of before the fight stopped, not dead, hopefully. Give me Tallison Teixeira by knockout in the first. But hard to count out Tafa. I've done it many times and he's burnt me that same amount of times. So hopefully he doesn't burn me again. Give me the young kid, Tallison Teixeira by knockout in the first. And now we get into the only pay-per-view fight of the fucking card, really, that's worthy of being on a pay-per-view. The best fight on the card. The co-main event of the evening, our first of 2 title fights. The fight I'm most hyped for. God, I can't wait for this fight. Long overdue. Should have been talking about this for UFC 300, but we gotta fucking love Yan Xiaonan for no reason. As in our co-main event of the evening, we have a banger. A fight I cannot wait for the UFC Undisputed Strawweight Championship of the world. We have Zhang Magnum Weili versus Tatiana Suarez. Finally. Again, long overdue when it comes to seeing these two fight. We should have thought at UFC 300. We should have saw it sometime last year in general if Weili didn't fight 1 time a year. But we finally get to see it now. Weili Suarez. Weili's toughest fight in a long time. Let's see what happens. I'm so fucking excited. I can't wait for this fight. One of the best fights in strawweight history on paper. I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. I really don't gotta say much about either. I think we all know these two by now. To talk about Weili, the reigning defending champion, one of the greatest strawweights of all time. 9-2, got her belt back from Rose. Well, got her belt back after beating Carla Esparza. Beat Lame Ocean Xiaonan with fucking ease in her last 2 fights. She's really fucking good, but she only fights 1 time a year, and she is getting older. 35 years old now. Doesn't fight often. And this is her toughest fight since probably the Rose fights in 2021. So, which in those fights, just to throw a little fucking idea into your brain, she got grapple fucked in those fights by Rose Namajunas. Now she's fighting Tatiana Suarez. Let that sink in. Think about that for a minute. Weili's good. Weili's really fucking good. No dispute about it. I still say she's the best female fighter in the world right now. She's better than Valentina. She's better than Kayla Harrison for now. She's the best female fighter in the world right now. But she needs to fucking get past this test if she wants to. And she's talking about moving up to flyweight and fighting Valentina, which I'm fine with if she wins this fight. After this, she has no one left to fight. Sorry, Jandaroba, we know you have no chance. Let's just not lie to ourselves. If Tatiana can't do it, no one at strawweight's gonna beat Weili. So, and Weili's again, she's that good. Well-rounded, great striker, decent ground game, good cardio. She's good. But we've seen her have struggle in the past on the ground. Let's see, will she have those same struggles again? We're gonna find out. Because she is fighting Tatiana Nurmagomedov, finally getting a title shot, years overdue, 34 years old now, 7-0 in the UFC, with those wins being after winning the Ultimate Fighter, beating Amanda Cooper for that award. She beat Viana Pereira, who Alexa Grasso, Carla Esparza, Nina Nunez, Montana De La Rosa, and Jessica Andrade. She did sit out 2024. She tried to get a fight, but no luck. And now she's getting her title shot. Long overdue. This is it. This is it for Tatiana. If she loses this, it's over. She's already 34 years old. She's already inactive as fuck. This is it. This is her chance. If she loses this, it's over. Let's see, man. Let's see if she's legit. She's beat some good fighters, Grasso, Andrade. But now can she beat the champ? Can she win the belt, finally? We'll see. I can't wait. Again, long overdue for Tatiana to get her title shot, to get her chance, to get her belt. Now, it's time for her to show up. We've said a lot of what-ifs in the last... How long has she been in the UFC? Fucking all 7-8 years. We've been saying what if for a long time. Now it's time for her to not say what if, to do it. The bang odds are pretty much a pick'em. They have been flipping all week. I would have Tatiana a decent favorite, like minus 150, 155, 160. She's in a maul Weili. Why do you think Weili's been trying to duck her? She doesn't want to fight Tatiana. No one does. You don't want to fight Tatiana. She's going to take you down and ragdoll you. That's what she's done to everybody. No one has fucking given her a fight. Like, she's just ragdolls people. And I don't think it's going to be much different for Weili. A 35-year-old Weili who's coming off a year layoff herself and got grapple fucked by Rose Namajunas. I'm going Tatiana and new. Again, she's the boogie woman of the division. No one wants to fight her. Weili didn't want to fight her. Weili wants to be fighting Valentina. She knows that's easier. She wants that second belt. But she's about to lose her first one. Give me Tatiana Suarez by decision. Maybe even a submission. Weili's best. If Weili can... You're telling me Weili has to stop takedowns from Tatiana Suarez for 25 minutes to win this fight. Good fucking luck. Tatiana has good cardio, her striking is not that bad, and her takedowns are going to get Weili down. Give me Tatiana Suarez by decision, if not a submission sometime in there, and new UFC strawweight champion of the world. Long overdue, Tatiana Suarez. I can't wait. My most hyped fight of the card, the real main event. So fucking excited. So fucking excited. One of the best fights in a long time at the strawweight division. The best title fight since what? Weili and Joanna on paper. So, let's see what happens. Tatiana's time. Let's find out. And new Tatiana Suarez. And now for our main event of the evening. We head to middleweight for a rematch a year in the making. Even though it should have already been made and done, like, in fucking August or whatever the fuck. 5 months ago it already should have been booked and done. As in our main event of the evening, to end off UFC 312, we end the night with a championship rematch between the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Dricus Stillknox du Plessis, versus Sean Strickland. Here we go. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. This should be Dricus and Khamzat. We all know it should be Dricus and Khamzat. Because A, this fight should have already happened here. And B, who gives a fuck about Sean Strickland? Like, his whole gimmick is old as shit. Oh, he's gonna say something crazy. Ooh. And he's the most boring fucking striker of all time, so whatever. To actually talk about the fight, they have both went 1-0 since the first fight, where a lot of people think Strickland got robbed. After a rewatch, it was super close. I have scored for Strickland, but a robbery might be a stretch. I do think Dricus did get to that fight because they did not like Strickland in Canada, so take that as you will. But since both guys have went 1-0, as I said, Strickland beat up Paulo Costa in a fight no one remembers. Dricus beat Izzy in a fun fight. And now it's time for them to meet one more time. Can Strickland beat him for the second time? Can Dricus prove he actually is the champion and he beat Strickland? Only one way to find out. AKA, let's just see who the fuck gets to lose to Khamzat, because that's all they're fighting for, if we're being honest. Who gets to get killed by Khamzat? I don't know why you'd fight for that, but they are. So, let's find out, man. Let's find out. The bang outs for fuck that up. The bang outs for the fight have Dricus minus 210 to plus 170. I don't know if I'd have Dricus that big of a favorite. I'd move him down a little bit to maybe minus 140. I think Dricus should be the favorite, but by very little. I don't know how to lean within this fight. I we know Dricus is really good, even though at the same time he never looks it. I don't know how he's ever won a fight after watching him fight. And Strickland, we know he's gonna walk forward, boring as possible, throw a teep kick, a teep kick, a teep kick, a jab, another teep kick, for 25 boring fucking minutes. So, exciting. This is gonna be interesting. I don't think this is gonna be like the first fight. I think this is gonna be different. Hopefully in a good way, not in a bad way. The first fight was really good. This fight, we'll see. We might see more grappling here by either side. I don't know which side. Dricus did get takedowns pretty easily in the first fight, even though he couldn't keep him down for shit. And they're both really good strikers, so we'll see what happens. I really don't know. I think it's really close. I think it's close to a pick'em. I get why Dricus is a slight favorite, because I do think he has looked better. Strickland looked pretty shitty against Costa, so we're gonna find out, man. I'm intrigued, not excited, because again it should be Khamzat, but I'm intrigued. Who am I going with? I don't have a horse in this race. I don't care for either. I respect Dricus. I think he's good. Strickland is the most boring fighter ever, and I think his character is fucking old at this point. But I do respect him as a fighter a little bit at times. Give me Dricus. Give me Anshul. I'd rather see Dricus win. Him and Khamzat's more interesting, and I'm kind of tired of Strickland at this point, so give me Dricus by decision. Hopefully Hopefully, cause I would rather see Drakus win at this point. If Strickland wins, I'm not upset, but it's like, here we go again with all this bullshit, so I'd rather just have Drakus win, get it over with, and move on from Sean Strickland. So give me Drakus Duplessis by decision. Let's just put an end to the Strickland stuff. You had a nice run. 2023 Strickland will be legendary forever, but it's time to move on from that. Give me Drakus Duplessis by decision. And still, and then he gets to go get killed by Hamzat. Good luck, Drakus. You need it. Not in this fight against Hamzat. Finally, an hour and 40 minutes in, I can finally say, boom. There's the card. To go over my picks one more time. Quillan Salkilld by submission in second, probably. Kevin Jousset by decision. Kody Steele, my lock of the night, by submission in the first. Colby Thicknesse by decision. Bruna Brasil by decision. Viacheslav Borshchev by knockout in the first. Jenkins by decision. Jake Matthews by decision. Rodolfo Bellato by knockout in the first. Tallison Teixeira by knockout in the first. Suarez by decision. And Drakus Duplessis by decision. Bang. Boom. Done. UFC 312. Over. At least a breakdown. Finally. Is it a good card? Not really. It's a good fight night, but that's what I look at. That's what I look at it as, a fight night, and it's a pay-per-view. So, what the fuck? I don't know. I look at it as a fucking fight night more than a pay-per-view, which is not a good thing. Cause they won $90 for those last 5 fights. Which is fucking absurd. The only one worth any of that would be Weili Tatiana. Cause that fight's great. I can't wait. But, like, it's not a pay-per-view level card. It's really terrible. If it was a fight night, it would be stacked. It would be a great fight night. But it's a goddamn fucking pay-per-view, which is not what it should be. So, whatever. We're still gonna watch it either way. We're not gonna pay for it. I mean, we're definitely gonna pay for it. Wink. And, yeah. I'm excited for some things. I'm not excited for other things. I'm indifferent to others. So, let's just see what happens, man. 2 belts on the line, a lot of young fighters on the card. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Outside of that, can't really think of anything else to say. You'll hear me recap this card on Sunday, like always. Hopefully I'm talking about Tatiana holding her belt, Drake is still champ, and a lot of other things. A good card full of finishes and fun fights, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. What I do know is, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2025. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I don't believe I am. Am I? I don't think so. Went over my picks, talked about the recap, talked about the card. That's all I can think of. Outside of that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, 100 subs goal by the end of 2025. And as always, RX out. Good vibes only. And always.